Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our Be Ready of the Elements Winter Operations and Fleet Management webinar. I'm Owen Williams with USA Fleet Solutions. I'll be helping host today's call. We've got a great lineup here today covering winter operations and how technology can help public works teams improve visibility, efficiency, and safety during winter events. Really quick, I do want to highlight on the right side of your screen, you will see a Q&A section. We will have some time at the end of the webinar to answer anything that comes through, but do not hesitate to put anything in the Q&A. Today you'll hear from Geotab's public works teams, Rasters on route management, and DiCAN on plow blade position reporting. But before we get started, I just want to take a minute to introduce USA Fleet Solutions. So USA Fleet Solutions is an elite partner of Geotab. A large part of what we do is focused on municipal and public sector fleets. More than 40% of our customer base falls into that category, so we understand many of the operational and accountability challenges that you guys face. Our approach is very hands-on, from implementation and training through the ongoing support. Our goal is to stay involved and make sure the technology continues to deliver value. We also believe that every fleet is different, whether the need is winter ops, route visibility, safety, utilization, or reporting. We work to build the solutions around the customer's actual operation rather than taking a one-size-fits-all approach. Ultimately, we want to be a long-term fleet partner, not simply install equipment and walk away. One of the most important partnerships that we have is with Geotab. Geotab is the platform behind many of the solutions that we deploy, and we've done a lot of work specifically around government and public works operations. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Brian King from the Public Sector Business Development Team to tell you a little bit more about Geotab and what they're doing in this space.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. Appreciate that. So, as Owen said, my name is Brian King. I'm part of the Public Sector Business Development Group at Geotab. So we wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a walkthrough. As Owen said, when it comes to the telematics platform, Geotab is really kind of at the core here of what we're going to be talking about today. And then we'll also touch on the relationships that we have with the folks that are joining the call today. So not only Owen and team at USA Fleet Solutions, but the Rasters folks and the folks at DiCAN with their Plow pilot solution as well. So from a Geotab's perspective, we are the global leader in connected transportation and telematics across the world. So how did we get to that point? So Geotab has been around for well over 25 years now. We've got well over 3,000 employees. And specific to kind of our talk track today from a public sector standpoint, here in North America, we have close to about 2 million devices that are currently deployed across our state, local, and federal government agencies that we work with. So on any given day, we cover about roughly 90% of all roads in North America through our public sector connected vehicles. So a lot of data that we're collecting. So really, we're starting to focus then on what are we doing with that data and how are we helping you make better informed decisions with that. So part of the ecosystem for Geotab is how are we bringing all of this data together, and then how are we partnering with the folks like USA Fleet Solutions for our go-to-market reseller network, and then with some of the folks like Rasters and DiCAN that are providing those value-added solutions that really enhance the data that we're delivering to our end customers. So it's through these partnerships and bringing in these additional capabilities is really where we're continuing to kind of lead the market with our solution and how we are driving and delivering you the best quality data and helping you to make the most informed decisions for your fleets. So when we started to look at our platform as a whole, so how are we going about in building the platform? So in this case, we've gone and built some very specific public works specific tools for you guys. So whether it's looking at how are we going out and delivering and solving your kind of most complex issues with service levels. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is your winter operations fleet, because we see that as kind of the most complex vehicles across your public works fleet. But know that this solution is also something that can come over, and it's applicable to your street sweepers, solid waste management as well. So what we've done is really kind of gone through and looked at what are the specific challenges that public work fleets are faced with, and how can we build and develop our platform and help you really go in and address those challenges. And we've really looked at it from a top level scenario down. So everything from, from an executive side. So governors, mayors' offices, how are we going in and helping them really understand like what's going on with the operations? And a lot of that centers around how well can we prove out or show that we're actually providing services out through a storm event. So what does that accountability side look like? What is the data that we can deliver? Because ultimately, what are we trying to do? We're really looking at mitigating any kind of negative press or complaints that are coming in from the constituents, because we understand that nobody's going to really sit there and come back and tell you, hey, great job on last week's, winter storm response. It's really the issues that get bubbled up are if there's a lack of kind of service levels that are achieved where the issues arise. So we want to give you the tools to better manage the fleet and make some of those real-time decisions during those events. So really from a managerial standpoint, how are we going about giving you some of those, that solution data? And then really, how can we go in with the solution itself and start to look at how can we help you meet your compliance standards? So we'll talk about like levels of service and routing solutions and how we're reporting on it, and then the driving force with the Rasters solution behind it. And then from liability, how can we go back and leverage all of this data that we're capturing to go in and help mitigate some of those investigations where maybe you have some service level variances or complaints that are coming in from constituents about perhaps areas of the city that were underserviced, or in extreme cases where there are accidents or complaints about hitting parked cars, mailboxes. And then we really start to look at some of the overall cost management involved as well. So from a material management standpoint, integrating into spreader controllers so we can then get data around material usage. So not only making sure that we're putting down the right material for the different circumstances, but how much material is used. So we can go back and start to do some post-event cost analysis as well. And then from an accountability standpoint, how are we able to give you the reporting that you need to prove out that you guys have met service level agreements, whether that's going up to some of the more of the top level folks within the agency, or simply how can we take some of the data that we're capturing, present it out to the public in almost near real time so they can see during a storm event how well you're covering streets and roads, and they can plan travel accordingly. So when we look at what are the really core components of the Geotab platform and how are we doing this? So again, what we've done is we've taken and built off of kind of our baseline My Geotab platform, where you're traditionally going in, seeing in real time where your vehicles are located, all of the data around historic events as well. And we've started to layer on top of this some very specific public works initiatives and data sets. So in this case, we've gone in and we've built a diagnostic data add-in that's going to allow you to not only see all of your traditional telematics data on a vehicle, but start to see what is the additional telemetry data that we're getting off of that. So for your winter operations vehicles, things like, is the spreader on? Is the spreader off? Is it in blast mode? What is the rate of material that's going down? What material is going down? And then the DiCAN, the Plow pilot solution, is allowing us to go in and report on the information around that plow status. So extremely important. So not only are we seeing where vehicles are located, where they've been, but all of the other data that was happening as well. So do we want to confirm that a vehicle was traveling down a road, it had the spreader was on, it was spreading at the right rate, and the plows were down. So we know it was fully performing the duties that it was meant to perform. And then on top of that, we start to gather data that helps you support some of the service level activity as well. So from a Geotab's perspective, we start to gather in all of the data that is coming from your vehicles and overlaying it into the routes. So what you're going to hear about here in a little bit from Jimmy and team is really how the Rasters solution is empowering your drivers with the in-cab routing solution for all of the routes that they have, for snowplow routes, street sweeping routes. What we're doing on the Geotab side then is gathering all of that data within my Geotab and bringing back to you either in live or historical format the service levels around those routes. So how well are we doing during a storm event in covering those routes? Post-event, what did it look like? Did we meet and adhere to all of our service levels? Do we need to make adjustments into how we've kind of allocated resources anywhere in the city? So really that raw data to be able to go in and determine, again, how well are we interacting and really performing the duties that we have in front of us. So again, we're doing that live route status completion, or where you're looking at this in a historical format as well. So post-event, we can go back and see, are there road segments that we underserviced or overserviced? Because that can be as big of an issue, right? We want to make sure that if there's a required number of passes that we need to make over a stretch of road, that we're meeting those service levels. And we also want to eliminate areas where we're maybe exceeding those, because maybe it's excess material that's going down. So there's cost factors of that, not only in the material, but we know over time there's degradation into the road surfaces with some of those materials as well. So we want to ensure that the service levels are being done towards providing safe travel, but we also want to make sure that we're staying into the confines of what those service level agreements are. So very quick and concise reporting that we show, whether it's in the geospatial reporting that we just looked at or some of the raw data as well. So and again, it's enabling you all to go in and make some very informed decisions and see exactly how well you're performing during any type of the services that you're providing out, with a heavy concentration obviously around some storm events. Here on the public works side with how we're looking at the winter operations side of things. So really we start to look at what are then some of the additional components coming into this. So obviously the first thing that we look at is how well are we covering roads. But as I touched on earlier, a lot of also what we want to do is help to start look at how can we help manage other costs and make sure not only are the roads being covered correctly, but there's other key components here. So what does the material usage look like? So are we not only covering those roads, are we putting down the right amount of material and the correct material for the conditions? And that's really where we start to look at some of the other capabilities that our partners have. So you're going to hear from Mike at DiCAN talk about their Plow pilot solution. So that's where we're bringing in all of the plow data. So we can confirm that, hey, not only did a vehicle travel down this road, but the plows were indeed down. So we know they were performing that work over those stretches of road. And then also the ability to link in and get data from like air and road temperature sensors as well. So we know that we're putting down the right material for the current conditions. So it's really that operational data that's at the core of what we're providing on the Geotab platform. So can I go out and see not only all of the actual route data, how well are we covering roads, but important to see not only the material usage, but we want to start to make sure that all of the operational data that we're gathering is easily accessed as well. So everything from the material management side of things all the way to making sure that operationally, if we're talking about winter operations vehicles, they were out, the plow is down, spreaders were on. If we're looking at street sweepers, kind of that same logic. Are we looking at, brushes are on, vacs on, water sprayers on? All of that is performing while you're providing that service out. And really, then how are we then providing some of that really accountability or insights out to the public? So Geotab has built what we call our Citizens Insights platform. So it's really kind of taking all of that data that we have, same data that you're accessing through the My Geotab portal in real time, but we put some delays to it, so it enables you to share this out to the public. And what that enables them to then go in and see is, hey, if if it's in the middle of a storm, I want to go out and see what roads have been serviced or haven't been serviced over a period of time. So I know, is it safe for me to go out and travel? So we're seeing more and more where this is becoming kind of a requirement. So we've got a platform specific built for that. And it's one that it obviously takes down a lot of the data that they have access to. It's really just going in and saying, hey, this road has been plowed or not plowed, or street sweeper has been up and down this road or not, or your garbage truck has been up and down this road or not. So a great way to help hopefully mitigate a lot of the calls that are coming in, kind of questioning what services have been provided to the constituents. And then we layer on top of this, we know that the kind of as we go forward, there's a big focus on video telematics as well. So whether it's looking at the ability to go out and see during a storm event, what do the road conditions look like? How safe are we with our driving? Are we starting to like long-term storms? Are we starting to see drowsing drivers? Do we need to make sure that we're doing shift changes at the right time? How can we mitigate accident claims where the agency is not at fault? So we want to go in and be able to not only provide all of the telematics data, but start to layer on all of the video telematics components there as well. And then even focusing on some of the safety aspects, again, whether it's not only helping to mitigate accident investigations, but also like the safety of your drivers, right? So how well are they operating the vehicles, and more importantly, just their overall safety as well. So we really look at it from a few different angles. We want to help not only your drivers be obviously safer while they're out driving on the roads, but we also want to protect them from the public as well. So we do that through different events capturing with the video platform, as well as any driver coaching behaviors as well. So then really we start to look at, once we have kind of all of these components in, so we've got the telematics data, the geospatial data around the operations, and how are we really going about achieving all of this? And it's for all of the data that we're capturing, all of these integrations, it's really kind of simple sophistication that we're looking at, because it's really just the core My Geotab components of the Go9 GPS device that's within the vehicle. And then we're looking at some integration with your spreader controller cables. And then we have what we call our iOxWorks smart cable, which is what enables us then to go in and do the integrations to the spreader controllers. And then it's where we're able to pull in the data from your secondary telemetry devices. So when we start to look at things like the DiCAN solutions through the Plow pilot and their road and air temperature sensors. So this is what's enabling us to bring all of this data into the MyGeotab platform. So the IX Works cable is really kind of the leading point here of how we're achieving a lot of the integration that we're talking about today. So I think as we kind of transition this over, I think Mike's going to touch on the points of where this is really at the core of what is allowing Geotab and DiCAN to bring our solutions together and really start to enhance the overall Geotab reporting that we touched on. Mike, I'll kind of flip it over to you if you want to expand on the capabilities with the MyGeotab platform and what you all are doing on your side.
All right, thank you, Brian. Mike Shashenko from DiCAN. I'm one of the partners and product and technical director. Plow Pilot module, the Plow Pilot is a family of components and devices that integrate with Geotab, specifically the IX Works harness. And you can see here that this particular module is what we call our air over hydraulic module. Many plow trucks are still air over hydraulic. In other words, it's an air pilot that triggers the hydraulic valve. It's a means of assisting the valve to shift. So we capture that pneumatic trigger from inside the cab of the truck, what we call the operator's paddles, and we provide a programmable or a presettable functionality to connect the air trigger, and we basically convert that air trigger from the operator's paddles in the cab to an intelligent electrical output, which is basically a 12-volt DC trigger signal to the inputs of the IX Works harness. The adjustments for plow up and down and wing up and down, and in many cases for, as you have in the US and throughout North America and Canada, tow plows and Magna wings, we can also adjust for the functionality and operation of those components as well, because a front blade has a different timing sequence than a wing blade. It takes longer to bring the wing blade down, and it takes longer to bring it up. So we adjust the timing and the threshold to report where and when you want that blade to report, I'm down or I'm up. It might in some cases be 3 or 4 inches off the ground. It might be a foot off the ground. It all depends on the end user, the customer, what happens in North Dakota, South Dakota, and what happens in Northern Ontario, where the settings are 2 different scenarios. So we're able to adjust that pneumatic trigger and the timing and the pulsing of it. And of course, that then is parlayed through to Geotab on your portal, where you can see plow down, plow up, wing up and wing down, or in many cases, a tow plow trailer blade down and tow plow trailer or Magna wing trailer deployed and retracted, as is a requirement in some provinces in Canada and in some of the states. So that's the air over hydraulic solution. I believe that next slide we have the PWM module. The PWM module PWM means pulse width modulation. Pulse width modulation is a trigger mechanism, pardon me, that's used on a lot of plow trucks over the last 3-4 years, and it is a different trigger. It is an electronic trigger. It's a pulse width. It's what we call a duty cycle or a square wave. Basically, your dimmer switch in your home is PWM. Your gas pedal on your vehicle is PWM. Acceleration, the rate of acceleration, the speed, etc., will determine what the output trigger is. This is a totally programmable device, as you just saw there in that little video clip, and that allows you to literally program the parameters from the driver's seat of the truck through a user interface on your phone, your tablet. There is no app that you require to download. You strictly insert the parameters. I bring the blade up. I like it there. That took half a second, which is 500 milliseconds. You can enter that for up and down, wing up and down. You can adjust this if your harness or hardware changes. You change the wear plates on your blade, etc. And when you're finished programming it, literally from the seat of the truck, you simply hit save and close. And like we say in the business, you're done. You're finished. You've programmed the module, and again, you can reprogram it if necessary just by swiping that magnetic wand and initiating the Wi-Fi feature. Just showing a little clip there of mounting it on the back wall of a plow truck between the two seats. Some of the harnesses there. All the harness, it is a plug-and-play solution with Deutsch connectors. There's two harnesses in what we call a quad harness that connects to the proportional valves for plow up and down, wing up and down, a harness that comes into the cab, two connectors, one for your extension harness and the other one is for your outputs to Geotab to the iOX Works. The whole system comes as a kit with a full installation manual and video reference, etc. So it's a very easy, not complicated installation. Typically takes about an hour for a couple of technicians, installers to complete. And again, very easily integrates to the iOX Works harness. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Brian? Public works across North America are telling us the same thing. Routes are living in binders. Routing knowledge in the head of your veteran drivers, and proof is on paper. Based on weekly discovery calls we conduct every week, 9 in 10 are still running on paper maps. Rasters is all about snow and ice control and waste collection as far as routing goes. We're all about operational efficiency. The system, the platform of ours was designed from ground up specifically for cities, counties, state DOTs, along with their contractors. Next. So a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Today, the link is one person with a radio. Let's start with the standard. You've all heard about the policy standards previously in the few previous slides. So policy, service level, compliance, audit proof are set before the season starts. And this is non-negotiable. So with or without rasters, nothing changed on that front. If you go to the other end, at the execution level, the operator was hired to run a truck, a 7,000-pound truck with a blade, a wing, and a windshield full of weather. So he was not hired to run a routing database. So this is where thing breaks, and the person that will juggle with all of these minute by minute challenges, the supervisor, will do its best with radio calls, binders, everything by memory, relaying a plan that change minute by minute while holding the 3 skills level to one standard. We'll get back to this. So this is what we're trying to fix. Policy aligned plans flows to the cab. Proof of execution flows back. Everything is automatically within the platform. Next slide. Problem that we've found based on several numerous conversation with key stakeholders in cities up to state DOTs. The problem is not snow, it's people. We hear that up to 20% operator turnover year over year. 1 in 5 won't be back next year. Onboarding takes 3 to 5 weeks per operator every time, and this will only buy a few routes to a minimum standard. So this person will not be up to the full network and not change ready when a storm hits and rewrites the plan. So you will probably relate to all of these challenges. So this is what we're trying to address. This is what the system accomplishes, Rasters. Next slide. So what is Rasters? It's a turn-by-turn navigation application. It lives within the Geotab platform as an add-on. And the foundation of the platform is all about planning, executing, and monitoring. So we like to say that we empower the supervisor to do more with less. So focusing on what matters minute by minute, enabling this person to make any recuts, any iteration on the routes and stream that back to the cab as needed. And the driver, without knowing it, will execute day one, every other minute with any changes. Monitoring will be easy because everything will be back in the platform for every route, every storm, recorded automatically. Next slide. The biggest challenge you will be facing, as we hear, it's the next hiring wave. The next generation to hire, as far as the operators goes, the drivers, they expect a screen, not a binder. Our platform will keep the knowledge within the system. It's going to live in the platform and it will not go out when the veterans will be retiring. When an employee will turn over, his knowledge will live in the system to enable the next driver to be as good as the best driver in your crew. So this is what we are, the value we bring. So that was to set the next step. Next slide. So Jamie can walk you through the platform, showcase all of our feature sets so you can understand the value behind all of these feature sets to enable your team to be, meeting compliance.
Yes, thanks, Francois. This is the funny part. So the live demo is not the team are funny, but it's always cool to see the live solution, and we have we have the authorization of some customer to show you how it works in the real life. So this is the Geotab platform. I'm in my Geotab portal right now here. So this is the live map of Rasters. So there's a lot of tools in my Geotab. So I will not just pass all that tools. I will focus on the operational thing. So all the tool operational. So here, what you see is, for example, it's a route. So the route has a status, so with an operator, a vehicle, a progression updated in real time. So you see the green section are completed and the blue section has to be completed. So all that section are updated in real time. So it's very easy to just focus on the progression and the route completion of the things. So Francois mentioned in the operational side of thing, we have the planning, the execution, and the monitoring. So let's start with the planning here. So for the planning, we have the route management tool. So the route management tool is the list of your route here. So you can have a lot of activity defined, snow removal, waste management, street sweeping. So this is your activity. So it's all customizable anyway. So let's take my Pinnacle Parkway Plow. So this is my just demo route. So this is a predefined route. So when you do snow removal, sidewalks, snow removal, or any other operation in public works, you have this kind of route integrated in binders, in paper maps, or in in the tablet or on the fixed GIS side of things. So you can import from your IT or GIS department the route in raster. It's not a problem. You can create the route directly with the editor in Geotab. Or if you don't have this capability, you can create the route just by a GPS trace. So you just send your experienced driver on the road and tell to Mike, hey, Mike, take the pickup 1 and please run the downtown zone 1 snow removal route. And we just take the GPS trace of that route and we will create the route from there. So it's very easy. Once the route is created, this is the editor right now. So you can always modify the route with the editor. So you don't need any IT or GIS department to do it by yourself. So for example, here, I can just do that. And it's very easy to just delete and move. And I can add another section here. So it's not a problem. After, I can just save my route. So this is the geometry. So you will see, for example, here, the two sides of the road. If you have multiple passage, this is a turn-by-turn route with direct navigation instruction. So if you have multiple passage on the route, you will have one line defined by pass. So for the operator and for each direction. So here you have the property of the route, and now you have your direction. So this is the navigation instruction that the operator will see on the tablet in the cabs. So before sending that route to the operator, you can inspect, turn right on Glen Ridge Crescent. So this is the navigation instruction. And you can always just inspect and be sure that the instructions are good. Sometimes you will see turn right on off-road. Why? Because you can define a route which is not following the road. So you can define a route just behind the building, in the parking, in parks. So it's not a problem. Rasters can handle this part of the route, but the navigation instruction will just say, okay, this is a turn right on off-road because there's no road. But when this situation happens, you can always manually edit the navigation instruction and just say, okay, I have a turn right, but it's not on off-road. It's, let's say, behind the 444 building. And then just apply that instruction. And now I have a manual instruction. That one, I don't want it. So I can disable that instruction, and that one, I don't want to display that instruction as well. So it's very easy to just add or replace any instruction. So if you want to be clear on a specific instruction on a ramp, for example, or on a highway to, okay, just keep your right now because the left, the next exit is at, I don't know. So you can always say, okay, I want to edit Tunehane, keep your right, for example. So it's very easy, and I will just apply that. Now, this is the navigation instruction. It's like a Google map. So you will see on the screen, I will show you the mobile application just after. Right now, when you're good with your navigation instruction, you can add what we call an operation instruction. An operation instruction is just something you want to display to the driver at some location. Let's say here I have the warning, raise manual ahead. So warning, raise manual ahead. I want the voice instruction in the tablet so I can toggle on and off just the voice instruction. And here, this is my voice instruction. There's a raise manual here, raise the plow. and I can save the instruction. So I can just move it. Okay, I will move it here. I will save again, and that's all. Adding a new located or operational instruction is very easy. Add, click, give a name, warning. This is free text, so it's very easy and just your instruction, and that's all. You're ready to go. You have another instruction you can display to the driver, what we call operation instruction again. So you see different color on my route or the section of the road of the route. So each color will display a different instruction. So when the driver will execute the route and when is navigating on the orange segment, so the system would just say, okay, here, raise your plow. Or no, this is not raise, but the orange is the front plow has to be down. And when I will navigate on the blue segment, the system will just say, here, raise your plow. And if I want to change that instruction, I just have to select my segment here and just say, no, I won't raise, I just want to raise the plow here. And that's all. Again, all the color, the instruction, it's all customizable depending of your activity. So now I'm ready to go because I will just save again my route. And that's cool. And I can go to my planning tool just to say, okay, my route are designed. It's all good. I will just now assign. So I have some template. And my template just define the team, the shift, the operator, the vehicle, and the route. So the Lino, the shield here has to take the pickup to execute my Pinnacle Parkway. So I can add a new assignment here, so it's not a problem. Let's say Jim in the vehicle 25, executing the bin to repair. Just publish that and we're good to go. Now, here you have your mobile application. So in the cabs, this is the driver's view. So it can run on a phone, Android, iPhone. So it's not a problem. It's on the store. So I can enter the PIN just to identify the driver. And now I will choose my, let's say, Patrol 001 vehicle. And I'm just in the map right now. I have a button here, and the button will just display the jobs or the route I have to execute right now. So this is my Pinnacle Parkway Plow assigned to me. So I just click on, I see the summary, and I just start. So you have your navigation instruction at the top left, and the bottom left tool just gives you the operation instruction. So you will see your front plow only. And on the map, you will have your, for example, slow down from here and red. And when the operation instruction will change, you will have a pin on the map as well as the vocal instruction by the tablet. So for the operator, it's very simple. So you just have to follow the instruction. And you see here in the back, my Patrol 001 with the green section updated in real time. And that's all. With the Plow Pilot, for example, that will just indicate if your plow is down or your plow is up. You can just add a rule to complete your route only when the plow is down. So it's very useful if you want to see in the monitoring side of things is all the jobs are done. I will show you in the monitoring view just after. If I want to just log in with another tablet just to show you how it works with multiple vehicles on the same route. So I will just choose another vehicle, and I will choose my Pinnacle Parkway Plow. So I see that the Patrol 001 vehicle is on it, and the progression is 60% right now. I just click on the job, and on the job, what is very useful, I see the location of the other drivers, the other vehicle, and I see the completed portion of the road. So it's very useful when you want to just dispatch more than one driver on the road. So you see exactly which portions are completed. And when I start, the system will just ask to me, okay, there's a progression on the road. What do you want to do? Do you want to continue the existing or just restart it at the beginning? So you can just choose whatever you want. If the drivers wants to report something back to the supervisor in real time, there's a little tool here. So for example, you can say, okay, there's a raise manual here, vehicle obstruction, construction, a pothole. So I just, okay, there's a raise manual here. So now you see at the back the raise manual just that just appear in real time on my Geotab portal. And after you have all the tool to manage that manual and do what do you want to the work order, for example. So it's very easy for the driver. Now, when you are a supervisor here, you can monitor your live map like here, or you have other tool here. So this is a real customer view. And this is the list of the route defined by the customer. So now is just executing the sweeping route because we are in August for sure. But if I just take, let's say, the Plow Route 3, secondary road probably. So I can just click on that route and I will see all the execution of that route. So each row is an execution. So you see that that route has been executed near than 20 times with which equipment, the operator, the activity, etc. And you can here, let's say I will inspect that specific execution. I click on that execution and you will see, okay, oh, there's a lot of section not completed. Why? I will display the GPS history over and I see exactly why the operator just are not completing all of the road. And after here, I can just display the function to see where the operator are just moving or where the plow is down. So with the plow pilot, it's very easy to determine where the plow is down and up. So I see, let's say in pink, where all that operation, where all the plow is up and the plow is down, and I can click on any point and see exactly here. I know that I'm in the scraping function is activated, so the blade is down. Again, the scraping is just the name I've gives, and I can click on any pink segment to see that right now my activated function were just moving. So it's just an example to see how the monitoring can be used. And here I have another view in Geotab to see the trip details. So I can see exactly the material management. So at that specific point, I will have the solid material rate, etc. And with that trips, here is very easy to have all the materials and a specific report in Rasters to see the second salt route 7, for example. I spent this quantity of material 1, and again, I can click on a specific execution and see exactly where the vehicle was in service. So the blade were down or the spreader was on. And I can, for example, select the spreading rate here and see exactly where the spreading rate has changed. So you see that Here, for example, I have a different spreading rate on the intersection, probably because we are on the intersection. So it's very easy just to inspect and monitor your execution. So I don't want to take more time, so I want to let time for question. So thank you. Mike, nothing to add.
Right. Thank you, Jimmy. No, I think you've explained it very well. The integration of the actual functionality of monitoring and reporting, the functionality of the front blade down, the wing blade down, and depending if you're, a state contract or a provincial contract, running a tow plow or a Magna wing, etc. So that gives you the reporting, the very definitive reporting of was my blade down, was my blade up? Did we actually damage a vehicle at 2 o'clock in the morning with the wing? No, actually the wing was up on that secondary road, etc. So from a liability perspective, it's very important information to have regarding the actual position of the blades. There was an indication of temperature or an indication, Brian talked about air, road. Of course, we have humidity and dew point. Just a little plug here for air, road, humidity, dew point, integrated through Geotab, as Geotab is now able to report all 4 parameters with the Guardian air, road, humidity, dew point, temperature system, and we'll be introducing pressure as well for this upcoming season. But having those 4 parameters to be able to predict freezing rain, black ice, sleet, snow, fog, etc. That's what I call the enviro window, where those 4 parameters will intersect over a given area, and you can predict and maximize your operations and minimize liability from, was that icy bridge actually icy? And if it is, let's get ops out there and deal with it.
So it's all included solution for winter operation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Just to carry on, thanks, Stephanie, for this reminder. Pulse width modulation is utilized by so many pieces of equipment, yellow iron as we call it. So not limited, and Jimmy touched on this, pulse width modulation, anything with a joystick, whether it's a front end loader, a sweeper, front end loader, bulldozers, etc. So we are able to integrate with a specific harness for not just a snowplow, but other types of equipment that's used for operational activities, whether it's public and or private.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian and the Geotab team, Rasters, Francois, and Jimmy, as well as Mike over at DiCAN for walking us through the different ways that the technology can help with winter operations. We want to take a final moment before we open this up for Q&A to talk about 2 upcoming shows. Next week, us at USA Fleet Solutions will be attending FleetCon in Loveland, Colorado. We'll be joined by Geotab, Rasters, Extract, and Norgon at booth 503. We'll have some putt-putt as well as some giveaway prizes throughout the show, so we hope that you guys can attend. And then additionally, Geotab in August will be at the PWX show in Houston, Texas. They'll be highlighting newest technology in the industry. They'll have decades of public works experience present with their team, and they'll be hosting 2 separate happy hours on both Sunday and Monday. Overall, I think the biggest takeaway from today is that effective winter fleet management really comes down to having better visibility in the fleet, knowing where the vehicles are, what routes have been completed, what the plows are doing, and being able to turn that information into better decisions during an actual event. Excuse me. Looking into the Q&A, on the right side, if anybody has any questions, please put them in. I do see a couple. Let me see who these should be directed at. Alrighty, Brian, it looks like this one would be for you. For agencies running mixed fleets, plows, graders, sweepers, and loaders, can all of these be managed under a single MyGeotab account with unified reporting, or do different vehicle types require separate configurations?
Yeah, so all of the, regardless of the type of vehicles, like wide range of public works vehicles, they can all be managed through the MyGeotab account. And the way we just go in and the differentiation is done in the vehicle grouping and the route reporting. So I think that's kind of feeding into the next question as far as how does route completion handle shared routes. So what we do when we look at the route completion, we're looking at the service level side of this. So typically we're going to go in and see, and this is completely customizable because every agency has a different service level in place. But if 2 passes are required on a road, for example, to consider it to be serviced, we're going to take into account the vehicles that performed over that route. So again, if we're looking at a winter operations scenario where we have, say, 30 plow trucks that are part of that winter operations, we're going to put those into a grouping structure within MyGeotab. And then as long as any one of those vehicles is driving over that road, and it's meeting the criteria. So if the criteria is not only I want to capture that they're driving down that road, but that the spreader's on and the plow is down, we're going to use that for the service level rule and be able to capture that data. So if more than one vehicle is performing services over a shared road, that's fine. We will still capture that data. And part of the route reporting, it'll show you not only how many passes have been complete for the road segments, but it'll show you the specific vehicles that passed over those segments as well.
Awesome. Again, that Q&A is on the right side. We will send kind of a recap and the webinar information to everybody that attended today. But a huge thank you to Geotab, all of our partners that joined us, and everybody that attended. The webinar will be available on our website and our YouTube channel, but we will send an email to all the attendees as well. But thank you all for joining.